So Greg, I mean, I'm not sure if I need to tell you this, but some of your shirts are kind of crappy. I mean, you know,
What do you mean by crappy? They got a sweet little pocket right here.
I mean they
That's
could be better. I mean, there's a place I know where it has lots of cool stuff. Uh,
yeah, but how cool?
we're talking about AAA cool. We're talking about shirts from 86.com. They're a pretty cool site. They sell all types of merchandise, including t-shirts, keychains, and other cool stuff that they sell on their site. And also have awesome video game material as well, such as Street Fighter, Killer Instinct, Guilty Gear, Skullgirls, BlazBlue, Smite, and 86's own brand of t-shirts as well as other stuff. Recently they put out some new keychains for Street Fighter 5. So yeah, there's some awesome stuff there. So I'm just suggesting, next time you go out and buy a shirt of any kind, I suggest check out 86.com. And if you want to support us and them at the same time, please use this link in your web browser to check out 86.com. Put in www.86.com !AFF equals 4. Again, www.86.com !AFF equals 4. This link will tell them that we sent you and that we're cool with them as long as you're cool with us. Thank you and enjoy the show. And there we go. Hey everybody. Sorry for the little lateness. What's the word I'm looking for? The piper had to be paid. And we're back. We're online. And welcome to another episode of Mission Star Podcast. And with me today, there's only one man that big enough for the job, and that is none other than Greg Dietz.
Hey guys, I'm looking at a thing on Dorkly right now that they just put up, and it's just a bunch of artist rendering of that Japanese Virgin Killer sweater.
Yeah, that is a thing.
Like the cast of Ruby and
Yeah.
Mei from Overwatch and
Yeah,
Hatsune Miku.
yeah, yeah. That is the next. That was the
Oh,
next
JoJo.
thing.
There's that. He's
Well,
wearing it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That is the thing that happened. Like it went from keyhole sweater to now Virgin Sweater Killer, or what do they call it now?
What is it called before?
They had another sweater where it's just a sweater, but the chest area like had like a triangle, like a they call it the keyhole. I don't know
Oh,
why,
okay.
but yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna
Sometimes.
restart my phone. It's acting super weird right now.
All right, welcome guys to the show. We got some topics for you. Just forewarning. I am still a little under the weather. I got pretty sick from yesterday from my brother actually, and I will occasionally cough. So, just a little forewarning if you're headphone users right now. But
Well, I was there 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago,
yeah, I hear ya. Yeah,
maybe 8.
and now it's my turn. So, anyways, all right. So, where to begin? Let's begin with again, Twitch having some big announcements of late. Like they've been really cranking out these awesome stuff. All right, so let me bring up the article here in question. This is from Engadget.com, written by Derek Roskell. Twitch desktop app aims to make streaming more social. Give me a second here, actually. There we go. Twitch has been more than just a video game streaming platform. In fact, it's starting to morph into a full-fledged gamer-centric social network, a marketplace. Just a few days ago, the company unveiled Pulse, which added a Facebook-like feed featuring posts from streamers and viewers. This spring, Twitch will also introduce the ability for users to buy and download games being played by their favorite streamers directly on the page. Today, the gaming platform announced these announced these and other features also coming to the new Twitch desktop app, which launches on March 16th. The app isn't entirely new since it's a rebranding of Curse, a communication platform Twitch acquired in August with added features. Now that Curse has been fully integrated into the Twitch family, the revised app to be one-stop destination for Twitch power users. In addition to the standard Twitch features like streams, chat, activity sharing, and private messaging, the desktop program will also include video chats, audio messaging, and community servers. Those places where followers of a particular streamer can interact with each other when the streamer is offline. Soon desktop Twitchers will also be able to actually play the games they watch. When the rec purchases come available this spring, users will be able to download and play their game right there in the Twitch desktop app. Once that feature goes live, the gamers can even snag add-ons and mods, which sounds similar to Steam Workshop downloadable content marketplace. Steam shouldn't have to worry about its marketplace to share just yet, though. It's recently had 14 million people on the platform at once, says PC Gamer. But the platform definitely has a serious new competitor. And I'll post this in the chat for people to check it out. But that's huge. That's huge.
I'm watching the video that keeps looping on the channel right now, and I'm curious. Like, the guy's playing some weird like 3D Space Invader game.
Yep.
And there's a dude in the chat that's just like, "Oh, this is sweet." I'm sorry, no, it's not.
Why?
Getting off track here.
Okay.
Why is it not sweet? Because it's barely a game. But it was all mostly a joke, Anthony.
Oh, sorry.
Understand that.
Sorry, yeah.
Because I'm not talking about the actual thing. I was talking about the video. See?
My sense of comedy is not.
I gathered that. I was like, wow, you didn't pick that up. Wow, all right.
I didn't catch the sign there, so yeah.
As for the thing itself, I think this is really cool. I think it's a great idea. My curiosity lies, though, and we'll have to test this out.
Oh yeah.
You'll have to test this out.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. But like, if you're streaming a game, let's say you're doing Skullgirls, right?
Okay.
As happens on this channel 3 times a week, from what I understand. Mm-hmm. And I want to test my ability to shoutcast, right?
Okay.
And I call you because you're a friend of mine on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
Will my voice come over the stream?
It should.
Will the people watching hear
I see
me?
what you're saying. I believe it would. It should. I mean, like, it's a question mark for sure, but like, I believe that
Okay.
that would be the case.
If that's the case, let's add a further caveat to this.
Okay.
PS4 and Xbox streamers.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm streaming on my Xbox, let's say I'm playing some game, and somebody in the chat's like, "Hey, I don't ever get to talk to you, and I'd like to have a discussion with you about things." Okay, give me a call. I take my headset out of my controller, I put it in my Xbox, or my laptop, I put it in my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my curiosity lies in the idea that if you're, like, do you have to be using the Twitch app to have someone call to have their voice over stream? Or if they call you while you're streaming, will it just come through over the stream if you're on a different laptop, a different device entirely? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, to me, that technology just kind of goes over my head a little bit, and maybe I just don't know.
Right.
I mean, I don't think anybody knows because you read the article and you don't know. But that's definitely something I'd like to know because I think that's really cool. Like, I mean, it's cool that there's the option now to do the desktop app and call and yada yada yada. And I'm really excited about all that because that'll be great in the future. Mm-hmm. But like I said, is the desktop app like? Is it its own individual thing when you use the calling mechanic? Or is it something else?
It has to be integrated. I can only imagine the fact that it is integrated into the app, because they're claiming this is the all one thing. They showed a couple of screenshots on their site actually of like how it looked like, and in the video you saw over and over again, like, you know, exactly how exactly you'll be a voice channel on your own servers as well as video sharing and video chat. Cause I had to imagine some of that's got to be integrated into the app. There's no way they do it without it, or have it separate. The other thing too is that they haven't announced this for the consoles yet. This is, I think, just primary for the PCs and Macs.
Oh, I imagine that Twitch app thing is for PCs only. I can't imagine beyond consoles. My question though is like when I stream, Anthony, when I have my setup, my Xbox is over here. Like you can't really see it because I don't have my camera moving around, but my Xbox is over here, like moving my hand over here. My laptop's over here where my camera is. If let's say I'm streaming on my Xbox, right, using the Twitch app, streaming, yada yada yada, and I have the laptop here. Okay, and one of our moderators who loves to have conversations usually joins a Discord conversation with like another streamer on our channel. He pops in and he goes, "Hey, I don't ever get to talk to you. Let's chat." And I go, "Okay, like give me a call," right? He calls me on the Twitch app that I have open on my laptop. Will his voice come through the stream, even though I'm not streaming from the same PC?
I see what you're saying. That is a good question. That is a very good question. That may have been a question that had been answered at PAX, because they were taking Q&A at PAX the day after they made the announcement. But these are valid questions. Like, it's both, you put it in that perspective, it's both very exciting, but at the same time, there's a lot of questions like whether these things will work with one another if you're using the Twitch app, using other types of connections to Twitch to possibly make that happen. There's a lot of unanswered questions for sure, but I think the idea of it's great. I think that I think we said this vocally on this podcast. I think is like the fact that you and I are waiting for the day we can get away from Skype, which we are using right now, into another platform that it makes it so much easier to stream on. Because I can't tell you guys, if you guys have streamed on Skype, it's just like it's not fun. But
it's a bit of a pain in the butt.
Yeah, it really is. But yeah, I'm super excited. I full-heartedly want to see this happen. Twitch also made some other announcements as well regarding their time at PAX. They're having and this is actually something that I have here. I don't have the image up, but Twitch also introduced a channel called Twitch Presents, which are gonna marathon, I believe, like just TV series or movies possibly. And the first one's gonna be on March 14th, which is actually gonna be that's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. They're going to marathon all of the Power Rangers, the original, back-to-back episodes. And there's, if what I'm reading here, 131 episodes and 23 seasons. So they're going to marathon it. And my guess is probably because of due to the movie coming out pretty soon. So, but yeah, that's super cool. So they're gonna have their own Twitch channel for that type of thing, which is funny because I feel like Twitch TV is like kind of reverting back to Justin.tv in a way to like.
Yeah, they always have been. I read an article months and months ago, about how they didn't expect Twitch to take off like it did. And if you remember, Justin was their first channel.
Oh yeah.
Their first website.
Yeah.
And the only reason they started Twitch was because they had realized that if they started doing video games on Justin, it wouldn't really go over very well. Like they wanted two individual things.
Yeah.
Somebody had asked them shortly after starting Twitch, just after starting 2, was like, would you integrate all the Justin.tv things into Twitch? And they were like, maybe one day eventually, because those channels are important and we don't want to lose those people, but at the same time we clearly see where the market is.
Yeah.
So I'd kind of seen them doing that a long time. Like I like the second I saw like the Bob Ross thing, I was like, there we go, we're gonna get more and more like Justin type things, like Justin.tv type things. It was it's pretty awesome. So I didn't hear the beginning of it because I was trying to look up if the Twitch app does the thing I was talking about, but were they adding more things to it, or is that what you said?
Well, no, the other announcement was that aside from the marathon thing they're doing, the other thing they're opening up is that in the future, So you know those Twitch emotes that you're animated, like the PogChamp, the Craigasm. They're gonna open that up for people to actually animate their own emotes in the future. So you get to animate like whatever channel you're following into an actually animation. You can actually animate if you wanted to, whomever the streamer is. So I think that's also another cool thing. So it's not to sound Homer when it comes to Twitch, because we're on the Twitch channel and on Twitch platform, but they're doing some good stuff. I'm really excited as far as like what they've been doing, and I cannot wait for these future things. And again, now we're still waiting on that desktop app to see if that works, and if it does, I'm super excited. So the question now becomes like, how is Discord going to respond? Like, is it gonna, whenever their video thing going to come out, is it going to be much better than Twitch, or I don't know. That's competition.
Yeah, Discord's definitely got to be sweating it. Discord, as far as I can tell, has been the go-to not video chat, I don't know, so video, but communication thing right now. Like every channel I go to is like, we have a Discord channel, and
yeah, that's the thing right now.
Yeah, it's like the only reason we're not using it at this moment and we're using Skype instead is because they don't have video yet.
Yeah.
I think that once Skype gets or Discord gets video, Skype's gonna start just bleh.
Yep.
But the other thing to that is, boy, I am sorry about the yawning. I was really trying to push it back. I don't know why I'm yawning. I think the thing what will happen is once like Discord's definitely got to get on the ball about getting video.
Yeah.
That's another thing, dude. You have to keep in mind about the Twitch app. Like, it's all going to be based on if it works.
Yeah.
Because
that's
right now Skype overclocks itself. Like, it's ridiculous on how much information it needs to run. Mm-hmm. Discord doesn't, and Discord, like, it works very well.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. I think about that. Yeah.
Twitch might do the same thing as Skype, for all we know.
Yeah.
So, I think we could speculate until we're blue in the face on this podcast. But at the end of the day, we're gonna have to wait until the Twitch app comes out and learn all this stuff ourselves. Because in the short amount of time I've had, I haven't seen any like frequently asked questions or like I typed in Xbox and PS4 and it just was like, you want to download the app on it? Because that's all I know about. And I'm like, God damn it, no. I want to know if it like, I want to know if anyone asked that question, and I'm not seeing anything. So
yeah.
But
we can definitely speculate, but like until we get our digital hands on this app, wait and see. It's kind of hearsay what other people are going to say about it too as well. So but yeah,
I think it's a good idea. Twitch is definitely trying. They're trying to keep their audience. They're trying to keep things in a very good way, and they're not trying to be YouTube. Like when they did the VOD muting because of certain music, they explained like we did that because we had to, legal reasons.
Yeah, obviously.
Not because we want to, because we have to.
Yeah.
And sorry if that screwed anything up for you. Like really, that's really bad, and we apologize, but there's nothing we can do about it because we have to. Like, sure, it was only 2 minutes of your stream that had the copyrighted song, and we muted 30 minutes, but it's hard to pinpoint it and just mute that 2 minutes.
I mean,
when you've done 4 hours or 5 hours of a channel,
That's why you always back up your videos.
Well, I can't.
I know, but.
However, on that note, though, I learned that like GTA 5 and wrestling games don't have music.
Yeah, that's always an issue when it comes to some certain games. It's like you can't really play. You can technically, but it will be muted because of the copyrighted songs they have on there. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry. Jesus.
You're gonna make everybody in the chat yawn.
I've been spending all day. I've been spending all day playing Master Blaster Zero, which I was gonna write a review on For Honor, but I'm just not I'm not interested in that game enough to write a review.
No, I hear people have been saying the same thing. Like it's actually the player count has actually dropped half of what it was. Of this player base halved, and its launch. So,
but I am really enjoying Master Blaster Zero, and I will be writing a review on that. I should do it like an impression thing, like a short impression, like a couple paragraphs or something. I don't know. Anyway, been playing that all day and haven't eaten. So my body's like, hey, energy, please.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. While we diverge into... Okay, I'm going to try and make this transition work. While we diverge into some sort of video game, how about some Nintendo Switch news?
Every week with this.
That's... sure. There you go. Alright, so, this is from Time.com. This is written by Matt Pakeman. And the title is Nintendo's America's Boss Answers Our Questions About Switch Concerns. So they went and actually asked, I believe, it would be Richard Fils-Aimé. Yes, it is Richard Fils-Aimé about some questions regarding some of the issues that have been brought up over the past week or two with Nintendo Switch. Speaking of which, I did actually, a friend of mine did have and I actually played around with it. It has surprisingly light Joy-Cons, like the plant that I was holding in my hands. Like, man, this is surprisingly light, and my thumb can cover like 2 of these buttons.
I've heard a lot of people who have big hands are like, holding it without it being attached to anything is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's I'm actually quite surprised, honestly. Like, I don't have, hang on a second, where's me? See, I don't have that big of a thumb, and I'm not big at all. So like, it's when I had it in my hands like this past Friday, like I was surprised how I was able to cover 2 buttons with my thumb. So kind of, I mean, yeah, people with big hands having issues playing the game, or whatever they're playing on the Switch. But here are some of the questions that were brought up to Reggie. And I'll put one on here. So, one of the questions was, on the reports of Switch scratching the tablet screen, Fils-Aimé responded, again, this is why we're encouraging consumers to reach out to us directly. We have done, as you know, literally hundreds of events, starting with our activity back in January, and most recently, the various tours that we continue to make sure the system is out on. As soon as I heard this report, I asked my teams, have you seen this in our own experience? And the candid answer has been no. Which is interesting to hear and say, because eventually that thing will get scratched up. Because the screen is actually not glass; it's actually plastic. So,
really,
yeah, it's not glass at all. It's actually plastic.
Didn't know that.
So it's susceptible to being scratched. That's why when you buy a Switch, it's best advised to buy the plastic cover to protect it, because it's very easy to protect the screen, and all the scratch will be on that plastic sheet. The other questions that was brought up, and let me get a second here, on whether Nintendo might offer a USB-C HDMI combo cable so that system could output to a TV without the dock, if, say, you brought it to a friend's house. Fils-Aimé responded, Nintendo believes that our systems are best utilized with our first-party accessories. We believe for the physical security of the system that has been best connected to the TV through our dock solution. So I'll say this, having no doubt there's going to be a lot of unlicensed third-party solutions that will start appearing that could potentially that could do potentially what you're describing. As a company, as a philosophy, we'd rather have consumers use our first-party solutions, in part because what happens if the system falls off of where it has been secured, and all of a sudden we have a consumer with a potential damaging unit. So we want consumers to use our solution, and there's a docking solution with the cable connected to the TV. Sorry.
Don't die on me.
I know, right? So that sounded very much like a corporate. It's like, hey, like, use our first-party stuff, buy our first-party stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell you right off the bat, when I worked at Walmart, that was a big problem that we had, was the corporations would contact Walmart and tell us to sell their items. But the biggest problem that I always dealt with, especially at Walmart, and my friend dealt with us at Toys R Us, was the corporations would come in and say, like, sell Nintendo products, sell Microsoft products, sell Sony products. And then Walmart would come and be like, ignore that and sell the third-party shit. And I'm just like, this is the most impossible job I've ever had. Like, I get why. Because Walmart, Toys R Us, Funco Land, whatever, they make, I don't know why that one came into my head. They make no money off of first party products. It's the only reason they have them in the store is to bring in people. Because those are sold at all wholesale. But all the third party stuff is sold with a markup, so that way they can make money. In case y'all didn't know.
The thing about it for me is that, I mean, I guess obviously that's an obvious answer, but to me, like, you know, what could you say, you know, as your veggie? It's like, oh, hey, third parties, buy those to help your farm.
Well, yeah, that's exactly. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all on why he's saying that.
Yeah.
But I think on the other hand, like, Nintendo needs to know that there are problems, and those problems need to be solved, or people will be buying third party.
Yep, agreed.
That's a
very good point, actually. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, to sit there and say, like, well, they shouldn't because warranties is like saying, well, I don't want you to saw off my foot, but you do have a saw, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like that's a terrible analogy. Don't listen to me at all. That was awful. It's just a really bad business model to have. And we've talked about Nintendo's business model in the past. Like it's and I've talked to a few people about this. We had Chris Krieger, who was on here a while back. I've talked to him a few weeks ago about Nintendo because I would really like a Nintendo Classic. I think that little tiny system is really cool. Even if it, you know, is just an emulator box.
Right.
I can't find it anywhere. It's not on Amazon. It's not in any stores. There's just no supplies of it. And I asked him, I was like, why do you think that's the case? And he made a very good point. Investors. And I've said this on the stream, on the podcast before. I've said it on my stream. Nintendo went through a moment in their career, or their business model, where they went from selling so many Wiis they didn't know what to do to selling no Wii U's.
Yeah.
And so the investors got very angry with Nintendo during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And Nintendo went, we got to listen to the investors now, period.
Yep.
And so if they, like Super Mario Run,
oh yeah,
because stock dropped at that point, they were like, oh, the investors didn't like that. Like, we got to do something different. Like, it sucks because Nintendo's listening to the investors instead of the consumers so much.
Yeah, you're right. No, think about it. You're absolutely right on that. Yeah.
And that's why this is happening. That's why everything that we're seeing right now, where we're just like, why would Nintendo make that choice? Like, we talked about this last year, before November, where I said, there's no way that Nintendo is going to stop production on the Wii U's before the Switch comes out, right?
And what happened?
They fucking stopped production in November. We both were just like, huh? Like,
yep.
Even you, who was kind of like, this kind of makes sense. I was like, this makes no sense. We both were surprised by it because it didn't make any sense at the time.
Yep.
But that's Nintendo. That's just, like Brian said last week, they are an enigma wrapped in a riddle. Yep. And it's hard to pinpoint what they're going to do and where they're going to push things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so,
Nintendo's a very, very weird company, and even the way that their system is set up right now, including the problems it does have, is very different than what you usually get with the other consoles. So they are in a weird enigma, as we put it in the past week. But yeah, again, you can read the link in the chat, guys, about the whole article and questions. Actually, I should suggest you guys go check it out anyway. It's actually a really good article. So moving on to our next story. Let's get some Mass Effect news. How about that? That game is getting here closer and closer. The date's almost here. I'm super pumped. So give me a second here as I roll the.
They're important to a game's survival, essentially. You can tell if a game is going to make it or break it by, well, microtransactions ultimately, and. I think with the way that gaming has evolved today, multiplayer games seem to be a big thing. Like take for example, Overwatch and not Overwatch. I'm sorry, my brain just went. Take for example, Horizon Zero Dawn and Zelda.
Yep.
Everyone's talking about those two games. Those two games are dynamite, phenomenal, yada 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 yada.
Great, yeah, obviously.
No multiplayer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That means that those two games will soon become what every other single player game is. It'll become the Portal. It'll become the BioShock Infinite.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll talk about it later, but no one's still playing it. If a game has a multiplayer, it wants to stick around for a long time. Half of the point of a company's idea of making a multiplayer is to make some money, to keep players around for an extended period of time. The way that model worked in the past was we'll release packs that you'll pay for and you'll get a bunch of new maps. Every Halo did that, still does that, I think. I don't think there's been a Halo that hasn't done that, has done free maps. Every Call of Duty's done that. Trying to think of what other games do that. But my point is that Battlefield, there we go. That was the other one. I was like, and Activision wants people playing Call of Duty until the next Call of Duty comes out. Microsoft wants people playing Gears of War and Halo until the next one comes out, or the next game that, like, oh, you were playing Gears of War 4 for the past year. Well, we now got Halo 2. Play that for the next, or Halo Wars 2. Play that for the next year. I mean, nobody's doing that, but the point I'm making is that they want people to continue playing the game for an extended period of time. And in my mind, the only way to do this is to make more money for the game. How do you make the most money? Well, you do what League of Legends has been doing for the past 6, 7 years, 8 years. You have everything accessible right out the gate, but there's things you have to pay for. There's things you have to buy. Now, a game like Overwatch, that doesn't work. You can't just like have characters that are unlockable by paying, because that doesn't work for the sake of balancing. But a game like League of Legends, it works fine. MOBAs, in essence, tend to be fine with locked characters, because there's no like necessary balancing system. It's all about jungling and yada yada yada. The point I'm getting at is Mass Effect Andromeda should have microtransactions. I mean, for crying out loud, the latest Tomb Raider game had microtransactions because they wanted people continuing to play it for a long time, even though I was kind of like, that's not gonna happen. So
I would say that you are right in some areas, and like some companies will put them in there if they want to get some money out of it in single player or multiplayer wise. I don't think everything needs to have microtransactions. I think that whatever the company...
Multiplayers need to have microtransactions, Anthony.
Yeah, no, I agree. Multiplayers will get microtransactions.
The reason I mentioned Tomb Raider is because it was a single player experience, much like how Zelda and Horizon are right now. And Horizon and Zelda don't have microtransactions because they were smart about it, and they were like, we want to make a single player experience that people buy one time and then move on with their lives.
Right, yeah.
Or twice for some people, I guess. Speedrunners, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, speedrunners, yeah, for sure.
But a developer has to understand that people who are playing a single player experience that has a beginning, a middle, and an end probably aren't going to come back to the game after they're done playing it. There's too many games out there as is right now to come back and play a game twice. Like, I've beaten Shovel Knight a gazillion times, but that's also because I can beat it in one sitting. But also, they're an enigma because they've released almost everything for free.
Yeah.
And have no microtransactions. But that's also because they, like, I think it's 6 times their initial goal for Shovel Knight. And then they've sold God knows how many copies. I mean, I've bought 3 myself. No, 4 myself, sorry. I bought 4 myself.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure that they have the money to do that. They are working on an original title right now, which I'm really excited about. But I digress.
Mm-hmm.
The point I'm getting at is if Andromeda didn't have a multiplayer, I'd say no microtransactions. But the fact that it does have a multiplayer and they're saying, oh, the maps will be free, is like, yeah, you're going to have cosmetic microtransactions. It might not even be cosmetic. Because it's not a versus multiplayer. Who the hell cares if you're able to buy a new gun for like $3 that does an insane amount of damage?
Then
Who cares?
the people who play it.
It is a co-op game.
I know, but people will still do it anyways.
I don't. Well, no. I mean, who? Why would you complain about that? Is my point. I mean, yes, people will still complain because that's what the internet does.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, in that regard, like, why? Like, first off, why get mad about? I don't know. I'm excited about free. I know I've been kind of ranting and raving and rumbling and ranting and whatever, but I'm excited about free maps. I'm excited about playing the multiplayer. I don't think I'll put much more time in it than I did with 3. It also depends on how many friends I know that have it.
It's true.
But I'm more excited about that single player as I was about 1, 2, and 3. So.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. So I'm pretty excited.
Boy, I really circled that damn bush, man.
Yeah,
I sprinted around it like 80 times. And
Yep. But yeah,
I'm padding out the episode tonight.
I think that's I believe that's terminology for it. But yes, you're absolutely right. Speaking of microtransactions, I got a good segue actually out of it.
Hey.
So the game I was super excited about was announced last year was Quake Champions. The follow-up, the game that was my childhood, came back from the E3 press conference showing off a new Quake is indeed coming. This is off of Polygon.com. Charles Hall, Quake Champions will be free unless you want to buy it. Quake Champions is the latest iteration of the decade-old fast-paced arena shooter franchise. Finally has a business model. Creative director Tim Willits tells Polygon the game will be free to play, but with a for-pay option. The interview last week said the players who want can play a single character, a champion named Ranger, for free. Or they can buy the champion pack and get unlimited access to Ranger and all his friends for a fixed price. The reason for his approach is simple, he said. The gaming world has changed since the launch of the original Quake in 1996. It's gotten bigger. There are more players from more parts of the world than ever before. Some markets simply have different expectations of how or if they pay for their games. By making Quake Champions both free and for pay, his team can get in front of as many players as possible. And I'll put this in the chat. So basically, to me, this very much reminds me of how exactly some of the other fighting games as of right now do the exact same model. Killer Instinct does the same model where like if you have the PC version, you get it for free, Windows 10 that is, and they cycle like one character each week of a new character that you can play as. And you can buy, the entire cast if you want to, or a certain character. So this is, I think this is fine. I think it's kind of in the direction when it comes to future fighting games, future shooters, especially with a vast, wider range of characters. Because like there are definitely certain characters that I'm more interested in playing. But I have no interest in playing this other character that may not be to my liking. So
again, this is what I've talked, the evolution of how games will be sold. Like all types of games will never stop happening. I mean, I'm playing a remaster or re-envisioning of an old school NES game right now on my DS. Earlier today, I played a clicker game on my Xbox, and currently I have a point-and-click adventure on my laptop. Friends of mine are playing a single-player experience, either PS4 or the Switch. I can quite literally play an RPG on my phone. A game that was a phone RPG will now have a sequel directly to console this summer. Steven Universe.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the list goes on about the types of games we're going to see. So, as I say, this is the future of gaming in terms of multiplayer. yeah, we're going to see a lot more of it, but we're not going to not see the other stuff. And I think that people have to keep that in mind. Instead of getting angry that Quake is going this route, or that Overwatch does their thing, or Mass Effect is doing their thing, like, keep in mind, you're still going to have your single-player experiences. And there are way too many games to play right now.
That is true. That is very true. The number of games has risen a lot in the past couple of years, to the point where, like, the new spring is new fall. Like, quite literally, we have like 3-4 games coming out in this month that are really good, and they're all like open world, which I find it funny at the same time. But yeah, like, I think that this direction when it comes to certain multiplayers, I think it's definitely a different way that games are now than what we're used to back in the day. And a lot of people who do complain, you know, are growing up on games that didn't have that. And it's
right. I think, yeah, like, recently, not to, I mean, kind of feed off what you were just saying there, last night was the Season 5 premiere of Samurai Jack.
Yes. Oh, yes. So good.
It has been 13 years since the show ended, right?
Yes.
That means that if there was a 10-year-old watching Samurai Jack, they are now 23. They could be working on that show. How crazy is that to think?
Yeah, I know, right?
Like that's weird to me, because I loved Samurai Jack, but I was an adult when it was out. I mean, quite literally, I had literally turned 18 when the first episode premiered. Or, well, not exactly, but you get my point.
Yeah.
And now I'm like in my soon-to-be mid-30s, and that's just a thing. Like, that's just a thing to think about when it comes to the generation now enjoying a certain form of media. The other thing that a lot of people have to understand is that people in general, and this is this will wrap around, so I promise it'll be a nice burrito.
All right.
People in general will not have their own opinion. They will spout someone else's opinion. They will hive mind a situation and say, this is bad because bullshit. Not looking at the situation themselves, not analyzing it themselves, just kind of right out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to paying for a game beyond the initial price, people see that as a bad thing. Now, there is the other additive that millennials, or people born in a certain time area, are having trouble with jobs, not making enough money, and so money's tight. So $60 is actually quite a bit for a lot of people. And it is a lot of money. I can say until I'm blue in the face that $60 was the standard then, and it is now. And with inflation, that's ridiculous. We're paying like what $30, maybe $20 would have been in the 90s or the 80s. But that doesn't matter, because if someone's making, you know, $2,000 a month, and they have all these bills, and they only have $200 left over, a AAA game, is a third of their cash.
Yeah.
That's a lot of damn money. When you think of it from that perspective, that's a lot of damn money. So I get people being upset about having to pay extra in a game that they just bought. And if somebody goes in and says, like, I want to buy Quake, and I want to play Quake because I loved Quake as a kid, and they see the free-to-play. Now, it says, because I kind of read down here, it says the free-to-play full price favor currency. What does that mean exactly?
I do not know exactly.
Because I imagine it's free to play, period, right?
Yeah.
But like characters and skins and things like that will be microtransactioned.
Well, they already said that their players are their characters are gonna be you get to choose your ranger as the first character that's free to play, but then afterwards you're gonna buy another.
So it's a first-person shooter that uses MOBA-style microtransactions.
Exactly.
Okay, so you can pay $60 for that. Okay. So let's say people get into Quake because it's free to play and plays really well and yada yada yada. There's Jim Sterling is going to put out a video that's like, "Oh, this is bad because money." and everyone's gonna go, yeah, pitchforks and torches. No one's gonna be thinking about the situation at hand. Yeah, I chose Jim Sterling. What at it? Come at me. But I think for me, the idea. First off, let me just preface this. I think the idea of a free-to-play Quake is brilliant. That's really smart.
Yeah.
On the developer point. Be prepared for people to be irate about it being free-to-play.
I would say the opposite, actually, because the last game they put out was a free-to-play game. It was Quake 3 on web browser. Like, I remember playing it back in the day, and it was a thing that they launched, and it was.
This is different, though, Anthony. This is not a web browser game.
I know it's an actually new game, an actual follow-up to Quake, that is a actual game. And I get why they're doing it too, because while Quake still has a name and still has presence, the thing about it too, I think also is the fear is that's like it may just end up as one of the games that you pick up, you play for a little bit, and you move on. Because to point the elephant in the room, what is the game that most of us are playing right now? It's a multiplayer first-person shooter, Overwatch.
Right.
And they're the big dogs right now in the room right now. It's Overwatch, and then everybody else. So like, I think the reason for this is that they can. They want to have a proper chance of competing instead of charging people $60. Exactly. And Overwatch.
No, that's fine. And they need that transparency. They need to tell everyone that. They need to say like, look, we're new. Sure, we have a title behind us that is big, but so did Duke Nukem. What's your point? I think that they need to come out and say this to people directly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then say like, the only reason we're doing free to play is not because we're looking to make a big buck. It's because we need to compete, and this is the only way that we can.
Exactly. This is the only way. So.
But I think on that same note, and this has nothing to do with the article itself, I think that Quake has a niche audience.
It does. It does.
Like I've talked about how Overwatch is very inclusive to everybody. You're not good at shooters? Play a guy with a hammer. You're amazing at like Call of Duty? Go ahead and pick one of the assault characters. Like that's what I love about Overwatch. Quake isn't that. Quake is like, were you really good at PC, Twitch reaction shooters? Well, it's coming back.
Yeah.
If that's a thing you're into.
Hey. You know what? I'm all for it. It grabbed me by the nostalgia and it took me down. It's like, you know what? You guys did a great job with Doom. I have full faith that Quake's going to be just as awesome. So, it's blind fate, but I think they'll be fine. So.
Yeah. I think somebody in the chat, Tommy, has said that free to play is a scam. I don't understand how that's the case. Especially like I said, when a game needs to compete but also make some money, because it costs money to make games. Yeah. So you got to make that investment back. But it all depends on its success, like if it makes money or not.
It does. It all depends on the success, and maybe it will be like a great game that people will again be surprised about, or maybe just it'll be another one of those free-to-play shooters. So who knows? I'm hoping that it'll be fine. But
I think it will. I think it will be fine. But here's where the point I'm making is like I don't think it'll have a big audience.
No. Yeah.
I think it'll have a big audience for like a week or so, maybe a month.
Yeah.
And then it'll kind of die off because it seems like to me all the stuff I've seen about it, it's a AAA title.
Yeah.
With the money backing a AAA title. Mm-hmm. But the fact that it's free to play means that they're gonna have to make a lot, like millions back through the free to play model. I don't think that they will do that. I don't think they'll have the steam to do that. I mean, one would argue that Killer Instinct did. Killer Instinct absolutely got their money back.
Oh yeah.
And so Quake has that opportunity, and I wouldn't argue that. I'd say you are correct. You're absolutely correct on that. But at the same time, it's definitely a gamble on their part.
It is a game.
Period.
I mean, like in general, making games for the gaming industry and for the fans is a general already as it is. So there's just more. There's just much more of a huge.
I mean, look at Battleborn and like Gearbox is like. Gearbox is like, we're not sweating it, while like sweating buckets. So,
yeah, definitely. So, in due time, we'll find out soon enough. But when Quake does launch, I will be one of the first to hop on it because I already signed up for their beta and I am excited. Hopefully, they'll see this. It's like, hey, I got
careful those types of games.
Exactly.
I also don't think that my laptop can handle it. So,
but mine can because I have a badass computer.
Yeah, whatever. It's also gigantic and heavy as shiitake mushrooms.
Yes, it is.
Does the article itself, or do you know if it's coming to console?
As far as I know, it's coming just to PC.
I figured it would. I figured it honestly would. Quake has always been a mouse and keyboard shooter.
Yeah. I eventually might maybe coming to the Mac or to the not the Mac to the eventually to the eventually to the eventually to the consoles it may end up being, but I guess it all depends on how the PC does, I think, firstly, and if it does well, then we'll probably see a port of that onto the PS4 and Xbox One. I doubt it'll be on the Wii U. It would kind of be funny though too if it did.
I don't think many games are going to the Wii U here soon. I mean, a perfect example. A perfect example of like the Wii U's like dying out is Master Blaster Zero is not on the Wii U. It's just on the Switch and the 3DS.
Man. So moving on to our next story. So what do you know of D&D? Is my first question.
What? Oh, I know it's a game that you do on a tabletop.
What if I told you? I'm gonna do the Matrix thing. I got the blue pill and red pill. What if I told you that you can play D&D off your phone?
In what fashion? Like there is one person who's hosting a room and he is a dungeon master.
Well, glad you asked. This is written by Andrew Liptok from TheVerge.com. Wizards of the Coast are releasing an official app to support your D&D campaign. Stacks of papers are a staple at any Dungeons & Dragons game, but Wizards of the Coast is finally offering a digital client to help gamers manage their characters. Today at PAX East, the company revealed a new digital toolset that works with 5th edition called D&D Beyond. Billed as a game management tool, D&D Beyond has an official rules compendium, a character builder, and character sheet. From the looks of it, it's designed to make it easier for people to look up rules and update their characters as they play. The company partnered with Curse, a media company owned by Twitch that builds gaming management tools for a range of platforms. D&D Beyond appears to be a client designed to bring the traditional pen and paper role-playing game into the digital age. I'll put this in the link. So basically, they made an app to make it easier, so you won't be carrying around won't be carrying around papers with you when it goes to D&D campaigns.
Oh, yeah, that's different than how you presented it, by the way.
I know, but I just wanted to lead into.
No, that's brilliant. Like, hey, like, are you tired of having bullshit with papers, and then sometimes you guys don't continue your campaign for a few weeks and you forgot where you left your papers and maybe you have to re-roll an entire character?
Yeah.
Well, we got an app that can do that for you. Like, yes, thank you. That's brilliant.
Yeah,
I'm
great.
100% behind that. Like,
Yeah.
Now the question is does the app have dice? Because then that's an extra additive that I'm like, I'd rather have a regular dice.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna go that far, I'd rather have regular dice. I would rather have a 20-sided die in my hand rather than, do the one on the phone. There's no better feeling than rolling a critical 20 and like right there on the table. Like, there's no better feeling. So, my assumption is the fact that this will be better for people to carry on their character sheets and go to like PAX or other events and like have their character ready to go. So it's like, that's awesome. So yeah, it's cool. I think thinking about it, where has this app been all our lives, or just like people play D&D? Because like it's been how many years?
Oh, I guarantee you that there are tons of apps that like here's what I'm going to my app store.
Okay.
I am typing in Dungeon. Whoops. If I spell it correctly, EON, and Dragons. Just type in Dungeons & Dragons and see what I get. So I have 5th edition character sheet, complete reference for D&D's character sheets, 5th edition spellbook, Dragon Plus from Wizards of the Coast, which I don't know what that is exactly. D&D Quick Dice, Name Generator, Tools, Dragon or Dungeon Generator, Loot Generator, RPG Character Generator. There are apps.
Okay.
Now, as for one from Wizard of the Coast, is that the one you said, by the way?
Yeah, Wizard from the Coast, yeah.
Yeah. That's the new thing. That's like, oh. Well then.
Yeah. It's been a while since I played D&D, so it's kind of here.
It's been a while. Sorry.
And I think it's great. Makes things much easier. But if there's other apps out there that kind of already do it, then it's like, well, still, I mean, we have one, but the official company is still, I think, better because then you support that company. So.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, you could get visual effects in the game too if you wanted. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the day we get like holograms in our campaigns, so we can like on the table.
Like, have phones like Tony Stark does.
Yes. It'd be freaking awesome. Oh man. So
I've actually watched a thing about how that would work.
Really?
And it would have to be that Tony has implanted like he either has sensors in his eyes or microscopic like computers implanted on contact lenses. So that way when he flicks his phone, it activates the contact lenses and he can see a projection in front of him, kind of like how Microsoft's doing with the thing they have with the glasses.
Yes, I can't wait for it actually. Haven't heard anything about it in a while, but yeah, that's what I want from that. Freaking, I want to put those on and just like when I work on our cosplays, but like just zoom in just like on the image, or like I can look up something. It's like Tony Stark. Ironically, 2 parts of my name is Tony Stark's name, so just throwing it out there. That's the same Tony Stark, but I'm close to it. And if I have a kid, I'm putting Stark in the middle name. Anyways, so going on to our last story of the day. So if I tell you, if I told you a name of a game that is named Dino Crisis, do you know what that is?
Yeah, I played Dino Crisis 1 and 2.
Well,
kind of played, but doesn't matter. I know what you're talking about.
Dino Crisis. If I told you that Dino Crisis was possibly would have, or could have had a reboot, but didn't. Give me a second here as I bring up the article. This was from the Daily Star Sunday. Oh no, sorry, it's the Daily Star.co.uk. It's a European website. Dino Crisis reboot would be a really exciting prospect amidst Capcom and Resident Evil 7 producer. Resident Evil 7 has proved that in the right hands, with careful consideration, considering gamers are still well on board on top of a top-notch survival horror game. However, Resident Evil isn't the only successful survival horror series on Capcom's books. As many as might remember, they own the rights to the cult classic Dino Crisis. At the start of 2016, Tao Wasashi, producer of Capcom's Monster Hunter Online, suggested he would be interested in the revival of a Dino Crisis series. He even suggested that Capcom could potentially start by remastering the original game, which would fall in line nicely with their current strategy when it comes to remasters. Since then, though, we heard very little about the prospect of a Dino Crisis reboot until now. Recently, while talking with Resident Evil 7 producer Mashika Kawada, I'm gonna butcher that name, sorry, who worked previously on the original Dino Crisis, we had a chance to ask whether he said the PlayStation 1 Classic making a return, and the response was certainly positive. Quote, I think if you were to create a Dino Crisis with modern gaming technology, it would be really exciting prospect, admitted Kawada. So, freaking let's do it, man. Do it. Oh, do it. I swear to God, let this happen. Oh man, I cannot tell you how excited I wait for a new Dino Crisis, because I played Dino Crisis. To me, I will exclude 3 because I don't think 3 exists in the pantheon of the Dino Crisis games, because that was not a great game. 1 and 2 were great. Freaking when that demo came out, I played the crap out of it. It was basically Resident Evil with dinosaurs, but it was great. It was awesome.
And almost controlled exactly the same.
Yeah. Remastered.
Here's the thing, Anthony.
Okay.
Have you played Dino Crisis 1 or 2?
Recently?
Since you, yeah.
No, not recently.
Okay. Well, I watched a video on it very recently.
Oh.
Did you ever think Oh man, the Resident Evil acting is really bad.
Yeah.
Dino Crisis is worse.
I mean,
Now, I'm not judging it on that because I do love Dino Crisis as you do, but if they did do Dino Crisis, brought it back, remade it, did an extra game, I don't care. It'd have to be cheesy as fuck.
oh yeah.
That's my one cuss word.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would be miffed if it was like super dark and gritty and yada. I'm like, no, it needs to be as silly as Jurassic World was.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, literally, you are shooting dinosaurs. I think it's kind of in the road of, hey, we're not taking this seriously. I mean, it kind of, just referencing 3, just because you fought dinosaurs in space. Just let it sit there for a second. Just for people listening at home, just let it sit. So it's already kind of there per se. But I would love to see what they do with a remastered edition. They've shown so far with Resident Evil games in the past that they remastered it were great. Resident Evil 7 was awesome. So I think to bring back Dino Crisis, if they did it right, I would be super excited. Yeah, and as far as like the cheesy voice acting, I wouldn't mind it. I mean, we get the whole meme of Joe being a Joe sandwich all the time in Resident Evil. I want the same thing in Dino Crisis. So yeah, make it happen, Capcom, please. Anyways, that's the end of our show. Not really much today in the past week. I mean, I was kind of looking at about what's happened as far as like game news wise, and nothing really happened in the past week. I mean, this past weekend was PAX, and there was some trailers that came out for some games. Speaking of which, one of them was literally a claymation video game, which actually looks pretty sick. But like everything else is just, kind of bone dry. So.
Oh well, I got food in the oven. I want to go eat.
All right, that sounds good. I got food right here next to me, waiting for me to eat at. So before we go, Greg, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Just search Chub Rock Geek. Find me on Snapchat under Chub Rock Snap, even though I barely use Snapchat anymore. I don't know why. I should just still do. I don't know. Whatever. You can find me every Saturday on Half Empty Energy Tank. Well, that's the channel name. The Twitch channel name is twitch.tv/halfemptyetank. We changed the name because Brian wanted to. And I should be doing a review very shortly here at Blaster Master Zero. Also, I want to do an editorial.
Okay.
On independent games on consoles. Because when a free game comes out that is literally a phone clicker game on the Xbox One, there's a problem.
PSN has the same problem too, actually. So.
Well, I understand that. So.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about writing a comedic editorial on that. But
all right, sounds good.
Other than that, you can also find me all like in my room all the time playing video games. You can also find me asleep some days. Right now, like I'm just kind of in my house. You can find me there, I guess. Oh, you said on the internet. My bad. All right, go ahead.
It seems like you are phoning it out for tonight. You can follow me on
Twitter.
No,
I'm just patting the crap out of this podcast.
You can follow me on Twitter at Defect. If not, also you can follow the work that me and Greg do on our website at missionstarpodcast.com. Give me a second to bring up the slide. So if you enjoy this podcast, if you enjoy listening to it and watching it on this Twitch channel or on our YouTube channel, please check it out on iTunes and Stitcher. We upload this audio every Tuesday, although I missed this past week. I put up on Wednesday, but regardless, usually upload every Tuesday on our podcast feed, so definitely check it out. And it's also posted on our website in the podcast section of our site. Also, if you enjoy us talking about past conventions we've been to, like conventions that we're planning to go to, what are things we're looking for, panels, gatherings, whatnot, check out Deconover, which also is on iTunes, Stitcher, as well as in the podcast section of the site as well. Last but not least, if you like comic books, entertainment, movies, all those nerdy things in one place, check out D-Rollin' 20s, hosted by Jeremy Wilson. Usually posted every Friday on our website at missionstarpodcast.com, and soon after on iTunes and Stitcher. And as I said prior in the previous 2 weeks, I am still working on getting that that RSS feed for our new movie podcast. I was gonna go see Logan this weekend, but I got sick, so I will see it probably either this upcoming weekend or maybe if I'm lucky, like this week.
I was wondering what happened to that because you made a post and I was like, "Are we doing the podcast?"
No, I was just seeing who has seen it so far and who hasn't. So that was the reason why I posted it. But I will see it eventually because I know it's a very good movie and I have to because this is Logan's last Wolverine movie with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. So, anyways, with that being said, thank you for watching and we will see you guys next time.